Right then, I'm here with Coach Greg, and today we are going to be doing a full body workout, which is ideal because there is actually a full body workout on my hybrid athlete split. So today I'm going to do Greg's variation of it, and we're here outside the 5 Hotel. The weather is perfect, the sun is out, the gym looking delightful. I'm ready to rock.
So I'm here with Mr. Delicious. I've got the matching red shorts. Let's see if I can keep up with them.
Now, before we get started with the video, I highly recommend that you head over to First Things First to check out the podcast that I did with Greg, which was shot a few days earlier to doing this workout. And keep in mind that this was the first interaction that I had with Greg, the first face-to-face conversation that I've had with him, so it's safe to say that it was a fairly juicy conversation. So go over, check that out, First Things First. Now back to the video.
First exercise, what do you want to do?
Do some chins. Back, I always start with that. One easy set and then failure after that.
Yeah, cool.
Do you have a favorite body part you like training? Is it like chest?
It's got to be chest.
Same here.
But the thing is, with my chest, I would like to train it more, but because it's in relative to everything else, it's like probably the biggest muscle group, so I need to train it the least.
Yeah.
So the most enjoyable thing I like to train, I do the least, unfortunately. Yeah. My back and my shoulders, I would like to improve.
I do the most volume for my shoulders because they never get sore.
Yeah. And
legs, I can hardly do anything. If I do one hard set of legs, I'm sore for 2 days.
Yeah, that's your legs are built from biking, would you say?
I always had good legs, and I did bike ride since I was a kid, but as I got older, my legs seem to be my best body part now. When I was younger, it was my abs. Now that I'm old, abs are
my legs,
not the same.
My legs are a weak point. I have to really hammer my legs to get them to actually grow. Otherwise, I'll just lose.
I don't know, it looks balanced to me. It looks proportional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even do one muscle up. Can you do those?
Yeah, it's mostly technique.
Oh, I suck. So you're doing full body workouts once a week in your training right now?
Yeah, so it's different to what I would usually do, but I have one upper, I have one lower, then I have one full body, and then we have the long run, which is the 5K, and then we have the core and hip workout.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most different in terms of what I've been doing recently. More focused on cardiovascular endurance.
Yeah, I'm way more into cardio now.
Yeah. Before that, it was like 5 bodybuilding sessions a week.
Yeah, it's like I used to do. I used to do the full bodybuilder split, like a 4-day split, 5-day split. Yeah. I never thought that I could keep muscle by training full body like twice a week, but since I've done it, it's just as good.
That's one thing I've learned. I can do, we were speaking on the podcast, I could probably do 3 sessions, maybe even 2 sessions a week and just maintain. So where I thought like, oh, you need to be doing like blasting your body every single day just to maintain where you're at, you don't need to do that.
I think people don't understand that you could get 80% of the results of a pro bodybuilder by just training 20% of the time.
Yeah.
Like if you just making it in the gym twice a week, you're gonna get really good results.
Yeah. I would used to go to failure every single set, but do like 3 sets.
Yeah.
And I was overdoing it.
Always overtrained. Yeah. Sore.
Yeah. I realized, I don't need to be doing that.
It's hard when you're hardcore and you're like us, you want to be the best, you want to go all the time hard, but then you realize if you just push back a little bit, it's still going to get, close to the same results.
Yeah, you don't need to recover for so long.
I mean, I'm 49, I don't need to go crazy anymore. Yeah. So many injuries that piled up.
Have you had any recently, or is it okay?
My shoulders are a mess, my hips are a mess. Like I can't do the deadlifts, the squat, bench press, all those. Like I was a power lifter.
Yeah.
Now I can't do any of those exercises. Those are my favorite 3.
Yeah.
So rarely I'll do a squat or something, but it hurts the hips. So I just trying to leave the ego at the door and just try to stay fit. Oh, yeah. It's a good stretch.
Do you think people who are getting into the gym should start with full body?
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Everybody that I get to join the gym, I almost try to convince them to do full body, like all the time. Even guys who are bodybuilders, I now try to set them up more into that style.
Yeah, because I used to get people saying like, oh, I'm so sore after my session, what can I do to stop soreness? And I'm like, well, just stop blasting like one muscle group.
I trained my first 3 years doing full body 3 days a week. So when I was 10 years old starting out, that's exactly how I did it. And it was only 1 set per body part. 1 warm up, 1 hard set, that was it. 3 years I trained like that.
I did bro split for 3 years.
So I went from doing that to like the typical bodybuilders split, and then I transitioned to training like when I was 10.
Yeah.
So basically, now that I'm almost 50, I train like a 10-year-old.
You're going full circle again.
Yeah, right around.
Do you want to
We got to add some more weight.
Yeah.
It sucks to go from being like a 500 plus bench presser. Now I can do maybe 330.
Just because the shoulder injury.
Shoulder injuries, and I don't train it. I'm so much weaker than, like, I was in high school, I could lift more than now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of discouraging, but I just don't ego lift anymore.
It's not worth it.
It's not fun when you can lift a lot and then you can't.
Yeah.
Like, imagine snapping your finger and tomorrow lifting only half the weight you can lift.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll happen to all of us, you know, so gotta learn to like it for something else. I still like the pump, but the weights are not heavy anymore. Oh, it felt good.
Who would you say in the fitness industry gives good solid advice?
Jeff Nippard.
Yeah.
I would say he's probably overall the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
Just because it's science-based, research is everything. He doesn't really give his own opinion. He gives the opinion of the consensus of the research. Mm-hmm. So I'd say, out of everyone, I'd say I watched the most of his. Like, as soon as he posts a video, I'm watching the video, and I react to half of them.
Yeah.
So not only does he have good information, I get to play off of it and make another video. So.
Yeah. And you sometimes learn like new things when you watch it.
Oh yeah, all the time. The most recent thing that I've learned was the long range partials, like stretching in the hole can actually give you just as much growth as like the full range.
Yeah.
Never heard of that. So you're always learning.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. So I actually train a lot different than I used to. I train more like Eric Janicki, who's really slow and controlled. Like, if I would have trained with you 5 years ago, I would have put as much weight as I could, try to show off and get like eight heavy reps. Now, lighter weight, stretch, squeeze, everything controlled.
That's how I've always done it.
Do you think Mike Isertel, if he had your 10, would have had the pro card?
Certainly would have looked a lot better.
It would have been better. Would have been enough.
But did he not even spray tan?
Oh, he had a proper spray tan, but it wasn't quite done right.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think like I have like a good physique, because I'm just always tanned. Like, it does actually make a huge difference if you do have a tan.
So me and Marie were talking about this. We said, when you're in Ibiza, and I said, there's no way this guy's natural. Is it possible that with the tan and the red shorts, it just made the physique look that much better?
It definitely
and
helps.
So maybe Mike Isertel is onto something.
Yeah,
it
definitely helps, but I look freaky then.
Would you say you're like 10 pounds different than now? Because you look, honestly, you look way leaner than I expected.
At the moment?
Yeah. I didn't think you'd be this lean.
I'm probably leaner than I normally am right now because I'm doing a bit of a cut.
Okay.
So I've reduced my calories over the past few weeks and I'm doing a bit more cardio.
Yeah.
But back then in Ibiza, that was 2020, so I would have been 29 at that point. And there was no partying at all because all the clubs were closed. So all I did was just sleep, eat and train. And that day was like, you know when you think you've got these sessions in your head where the pump was so crazy, you're like, what the fuck was that about? Yeah. That was one of them.
The veins and stuff can make a huge difference. If you have a good vein pump day, you look so much better.
And I think arms, when I train arms, that probably makes me look the freakiest, I would say.
Now, when people meet you, do they say you look bigger in person or smaller? Or what do they say, like, on average? They just watch your videos and they meet you for the first time.
I think most of them will probably say I look bigger.
Yeah.
But sometimes there have been people who said like, oh, you're actually smaller than I thought you would be.
Yeah.
But
I'd say you look bigger with your shirt off than your shirt on. That's typical when you're really lean. That lean body looks more impressive.
Yeah.
Without it
because I could wear like a hoodie or a shirt or something long sleeves and I would look fairly normal.
Yeah.
But when I take it off, you see the cuts, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. For me, most people say, you're way bigger than I thought. I think everyone thinks I'm 5'2" or something. And when I do my videos, I don't pump or anything. I just record like in the morning. So when I'm at the gym and I see people and I have a good pump on, they're like, geez, you look a lot bigger than
me. Yeah, you're bigger than I thought you were going to be.
Taller too, or just, you think I was a manlet?
No, I didn't think you were that small.
Yeah.
Nah, but you're like your legs. I'm like, what the fuck? That's it.
They're the biker legs. As for me, it's my hamstrings. That's my strength, though. Like, I have more developed in here. Not as much in the front, but hamstrings. I don't carry much fat on my legs either.
I feel like for me, I carry it here.
Yeah.
And here. And the back is...
When I was younger, like your age, I would get crazy abs. Like at this body fat, my abs would be just PLA. It was my best body part. I was going to do photo shoots and stuff. It was always all they care about my stomach.
Yeah.
But my legs were fatter. Like even on show day, they wouldn't be this lean. Like when I was natural competing, I had the craziest abs, but my legs were soft. I couldn't get cut. And then when I went on steroids later on, I was able to get like way leaner legs, but my stomach looked worse.
Yeah.
I was bloated and had a puffy face.
Yeah.
I actually looked better natural than enhanced, I think, like overall. But multiply it by 2.2046 for pounds to kilo conversion.
Okay.
I'm like a math whiz.
That's easy.
I got every conversion in my head. Centimeters, inches, all of it.
Do you do it seated or standing?
Usually I do standing, and then I'll superset it with like bend. So I'll do one set like this, and then I just bend over and get like a few other reps like that. That's my favorite kind of shoulder workout. I love it. You get one set done, a superset, back to back. I always get less reps. Even if you only get 8, you're going to bend over and do 8 more, so it's really a longer set of 16.
You know Paul Carter?
Paul Carter, no.
He's his Instagram is Lift Run Bang.
Never heard of it.
So he's a big proponent of just doing fewer reps. Like he'll train in the 5, 6, 7 rep range, and argue that's all you need to do.
I mean, it's going to work, but you're going to be more likely to get injured.
Yeah.
I argue that the danger of training that heavy, it's just too risky. Like, why go that heavy and then risk injury? I mean, if you get slow growth for a year straight, it's great. You can do it for 3 months and get injured and you're out for 3 months. And that's what used to happen, because I used to bench press maximum since I was like a 10-year-old. I go for 1 rep maxes all the time, but I get injured a lot.
Yeah.
So 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
I cycle it a little bit, so I'll go, like I did a split last year, finished off the year with strength and symmetry, where it was, the rep range was a lot less, but the weight I was lifting was heavier. I noticed I got stronger, but I don't know if that was, I felt like my legs were getting smaller by doing fewer reps. But maybe I was just psychologically fucking myself.
Well, how many reps do you usually do? Like, what's the range?
Typical for legs, it would be like 10, 11, it'd be 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And then I was doing like 5 to 8.
Yeah.
So I got stronger, but I don't feel like that transferred to having bigger legs.
Any set below 10 for me is like a heavy set. Like when I was a kid, I'd do sets of 6. When I was 10 years old, it was 6 reps.
Yeah.
And then I got into higher reps. Now 15 is about my average.
For everything or for legs?
For pretty much every single set, yeah. Back, bicep, everything is about. I'm always thinking 15. If I don't quite get there and I get like 12, it's good.
Yeah.
So, unless it's a super set like this, but total reps be at least 15. Any chance you'll compete in the show soon?
I've said this a few times. I would like to do it one more time just to see what I'm capable of. Because having that goal in the future where you are going to be competing, you'll never train as hard, you'll never be as strict with your diet. So I want that. I want to see what I'm capable of. The thing is, when you compete, it's like that then becomes a priority, and everything else is on the back end. So you have to sacrifice quite a lot. Not
in this shape, you'd only need probably 6 weeks to get really dialed in terms of the diet. Like you probably want to train harder, build more muscle. But
what category?
You'd be probably best in men's physique, just because the size. Even though people are like, yeah, but classic physique. The weight cut. What are you like? 5'9"?
What height?
Your height?
5'11".
5'11". Okay, so your height weight cap is, I think, 212 pounds.
Yeah.
So, in contest shape, you're going to be well under 200, I would assume.
Yeah.
So you're giving off a lot of weight, even though there's a weight cap. So if you did classic, you would be a small classic guy.
Yeah.
Like in the pros, like Urs is in your weight class and height class. You know Urs Kalasenski?
Yeah.
He's 275 pounds off season. He looks like a monster. Yeah. So it's just, But I would say you'd be best in men's physique. I don't know if that's your goal or...
Could be.
I mean, you can honestly do all the categories, but you would place high, like in the men's physique. You would do really good.
Yeah. I think I would definitely lose some more size if I was to get leaner. But I would need to practice the posing and then bring up some weak points.
You could definitely do classic. Bodybuilding, it's smaller than these guys, but like, you can still do it. Still good in it. I used to compete against heavyweights and as a lightweight. It didn't matter.
Is it not?
I would still win overalls as a lightweight.
Yeah.
It's the shape and the symmetry. But when you get to like the pro level or trying to get a pro card, I mean, the guys are just crazy then.
I think there's like an age where you hit your prime physique.
I think at 35-ish there.
Yeah.
A lot of guys think they're 22 and I can't make any more gains. I'm like, you're not even close. When I was 22 compared to when I was 30, I still had a ways to go, and I started training at 10. So I'd say somewhere in the mid-30s is when you really peak out.
I'm just about to hit that.
So you got one more year. This is it.
1 year, then it's downhill.
One more year. It's pretty much
1 year, then we're on
35.
TRT.
You might be able to maintain the prime 35-year-old physique till 40, but I doubt you're going to get any better at that age.
Yeah.
You know, unless you start training at 30, then it's going to take you longer to hit that peak. So, but if you've been training for 10 plus years, I mean,
17 years.
It's going to take a while to get to your max. Yeah, the kids these days, they're 22 and they think, oh yeah, I'm at my natural limit. I'm like, you don't even know what that is.
Always in such a rush. All right, next one, we've done back, chest, shoulders.
What we could do, I always do like one of the pulls and one of this one. So is there a chest supported rows or something? Yeah, like no. I've never owned my own gym. I got offered to buy one, but I didn't feel like the time put in would be worth it. When you own your gym, then you have so much business things to do with it. Yeah. And I worked at a gym when I was younger, and that was the hardest time in my life to train. Yeah. I was just there all day, like you'd open the gym at 6, and then your shift's done at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
You get sick of the place.
I don't want to be here anymore. I've been here all day.
Yeah.
You think, oh, it's going to be easy, you can train, you're at the gym. I hated it. Yeah. So even personal training, I was never really a big fan of the one-on-one stuff. I like being a one-on-one versus like 20-on-1. I love the big group. Yeah. Like when I taught kids in school, like having 20 kids at the same time, I found that very easy to manage. But one-on-one interaction like that's so much harder for me. So wasn't a big fan of the one-on-one training stuff.
Yeah, it's if you're doing it all day, it's very draining.
Yeah.
I found it very draining. After a full day of work, I was like, oh my God.
Well, you have to give your best energy the whole time. They're there for you that 1 hour. They don't care that the last client was mad at you or you had a bad day. So it was the same thing like being a teacher. The kids in class, they don't know that you never slept the night before, that you're fighting or whatever. Like, you know.
Yeah, you've always got to give your best.
Yeah, they don't know.
It's a really awkward height, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels all right. You got good control of your lifts. You're always controlling everything. Yeah. What's your weight at now?
I've probably, last time I checked was 94 kilograms, but maybe I'm now down to 93.
Yeah.
95 is like the weight I always, 95, 96 is where I hover at.
Yeah.
But after this cut, I'll probably be around 91, 92, I think.
What's the lightest you've ever been since you've been like in your 20s? Have you ever gotten like under 85? Have you been like that light?
The only thing I remember is when this is probably my 3rd year into training, I was always stuck at 88. Couldn't get any heavier, and I realized this was before I knew about nutrition and calories.
Yeah.
I just had to eat more.
Yeah.
And then I would say I've spent the majority of the time over 90. And then those times when I've been super lean or competed, I went below 90.
Yeah.
But I don't stay there very long.
My heaviest, I was at 105 kg, like just over 230. And that's in the morning. And I'm 87 now. Yeah. And when I was,
well, you were fucking white.
I was fat too, though. I was probably over 20% body fat. Yeah. But I would say with the same muscle, I would be like, I'm 87 now. I would be like 95. Yeah. And the same body fat percentage. I probably lost like 10 kilos of muscle in the last like 5 years. Yeah. So it's significant.
Can't wait. Can't wait to experience that.
Oh yeah. Another step.
I don't know if it's harder or that's just the second set.
Probably the second set. I usually lift more with my hands like this.
Yeah.
The hammer grip there, but one set later I'm done. I don't have good rep endurance. Like if I go all out on one set, say chins, my warm-up set, I did more reps than my hard set. I just fatigue like that. I don't have stamina.
That's why I like, have you ever done reverse pyramid training?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah, that was quite cool because the first set would be the heaviest set for the fewest amount of reps. You go all out on that, and then after that you taper up the reps and lower the weight.
Yeah.
That was quite cool.
Yeah, it's funny how some people are. Like you would do, say I did 5 sets of bench. Some people do like 5 sets, say it's 200 pounds. You do 8 to 10 reps. If I did 10 on my first set, I'm getting 7 on the second, and then 5. Like I have nothing left. So I'm not a guy that can handle a lot of volume. So in my training, like you know how you're supposed to do, let's say 10 to 20 sets per body part per week? I do 10 max. I just can't do the high volume. I don't recover from it. It doesn't feel good for me. So everybody's different where I go.
1 or 2.
Inside, like on my bike.
An actual fan.
An actual fan, like I pack 2 with me.
Yeah.
So I'm doing an hour of bike. I have 2 fans in front of me doing my ride, and then when I train, I'll have my fan in front of me.
It makes a difference, you know. Like when I
Way
train,
bigger.
if I train in the gym in a hot country with no air conditioning,
You can't.
awful.
If I'm on a bike, I used to go to Mexico and I would train. I would be like, I'm gonna do my normal hour. I'm at 40 minutes and I'm like, there's just no way I can keep going.
Yeah.
Shirt's drenched. I can hardly breathe. I feel like garbage. But with a fan, I can just keep pushing harder.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Do you want to do these standing or seated?
Maybe seated.
Yeah. Well, I always noticed when I did a barbell, I would end up doing that without meaning to.
Yeah.
Like one of my shoulders would elevate. So then I started to notice imbalances, like my left bicep and tricep looked different to the right bicep and tricep because I was doing so much barbell stuff.
Would you ever do deadlifts? Would you do deadlifts?
Like what
Like-
type of deadlift?
Like sumo, conventional?
The only deadlift I do is it's the stiff leg or Romanian.
Okay. I would do deadlifts when I was a kid, and I would always lift one way like this.
Yeah.
And eventually I was twisting my back because you're like that too much. I was ending up screwing up my back. I'd go to a chiropractor and it was like, you have to switch grips. So then after that, I'd have to do my warm-up set one way and then my heavy set the other way so that I didn't just have that imbalance. Because just imagine
that was
doing this
so
all the
weird.
time with max
Yeah.
weight. 5 years straight of doing that, your body just loses that.
No.
Yep. Are you young enough where you can remember doing photo shoots on the beach, stuff like this, for magazines, or is that am I just ancient? To have done
I don't
that?
think I ever got on the front cover of a magazine.
Never done that.
No,
Like it's so ancient. Like when I was growing up, like your goal would be to be in a bodybuilding magazine or on a cover of a magazine.
When I was in my early 20s, I wanted to be on Men's Health.
yeah,
But I think I was like out of that sort of border of being
I
mainstream,
think at
too
this
big.
point you would look too big for Men's
Yeah,
Health.
it wouldn't make sense for them to be like,
Have you bought a magazine in the last 10 years?
no,
I don't think I have either.
no.
But back in the day when I was growing up, that was the dream. I made a few covers and it was just like so
Like all
exciting.
the old school bodybuilders I've met, like they were all, you know, the goal was to be on the front cover of Flex,
Yeah.
things like that. Or the, what was it, the Weeder magazines?
Yeah, Weeder,
Yeah,
Reps,
but,
there's several different magazines.
Completely different now.
Yeah.
I'd still like to be on
the
the front cover of GQ, that'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. You see how Mike Isertel doing them with 10 pounds?
Lying back.
What do you think? Is that gonna? I tried it. I said I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, and I did this with 10 pounds, and it's actually hard from here to there. But then there's no tension. So I'm like, well, it's okay to here, but you're losing it all at the top.
Yeah, I've done it. It does feel different, but if I angle myself like that and I'm lifting a heavy weight,
Yeah.
the pressure that's on my elbow joint at the bottom of the movement
It's not worth it.
it's like, I'm like, holy fuck, am I gonna snap something here?
Yeah, it's like you've seen science-based lifting, and if that's science, I don't think that's science. I don't
Yeah.
think lifting 10 pounds like this, and when you see people doing that, and that's the only thing they remember. They remember that one image, 10 pounds like that, and think science lifting doesn't work. But science lifting works, but that's not science. 10 pounds, no.
Nice.
Oh man, he's done. Remember what I said about the endurance? I got half the reps on the next set. Oh, the last time I worked out like this outside, it was at 2009 National Bodybuilding. We just trained outside.
Where?
Oh, it was in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
Just everyone's pumping up backstage.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my
Have you
god.
been to Muscle Beach?
Yeah, we went last year. It was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't really work out. I pretended to.
So I don't think those places nobody really does a proper workout.
No.
It's all for show.
Yeah, just to be there was interesting.
Yeah. When I went in, I think it was 2018, first time, it was a dump. Like the whole place was a mess. Like
Yeah.
they just had not looked after it. And then I think a year or two after that, they just refurbished everything and
Yeah.
brought it back to life.
You notice how much smaller my left arm is than my right? look.
Or
This side. I almost have no tricep left. I got 2 separate bike accidents. I broke this elbow, so it's just hanging off. And I have to sew it back in.
Cycling.
Bike riding, yeah.
Oh, right.
I've gotten more injuries from bike riding than any other sport combined in my life. I've crashed like a dozen times, bad injuries, like shoulder dislocated, the whole thing. This one broke off, and they sewed it back in, but it didn't catch. So there's only about 20% of the fibers that still work. So this arm is so weak. Like riding a bicycle with one arm, I can barely do it. So like one arm push-ups, this side can't do them at all.
You're not selling the whole cycling thing.
The cycling thing you want to do inside. Well, this one broke her hand. It wasn't very good. It's like, so now she's doing inside. Yeah. I'm about done with the outdoor.
Why is that? Because off-road, the ground is uneven, or just obstacles?
I've been hit by cars a couple times. Yeah, and then it's slippery. There's sand on the road, ice. I would ride in the winter, and then sometimes it's just you hit an ice patch. It's not good.
Yeah, if you're going fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've crashed going 50 something. It's not fun. Can you do any gymnastics?
No. I did a gymnast session with Niall Wilson. Did a YouTube video years ago.
Okay.
He taught me how to do a backflip.
You could?
Yeah.
Nice.
Standing backflip.
Awesome.
Which I would not like to try right now.
I learned that. I was a power cheerleader in university, and they taught me to do it in about 20 minutes.
He also taught me how to do a muscle up with the rings.
Yep. I still can't do that.
That was really hard.
Oh, it's a good stretch here.
But it's completely next level, because as soon as they jump off something and start flipping their body, they still know where they are, like where their body is relative to the ground, so they know how to land it.
Yeah.
Whereas as soon as I jump and I'm upside down, I don't have a clue what's going on, where I am.
That set was harder than every set I've done today. It's like,
Did
I think
even
I was
more?
in shape. I ride a bike like every day. I do a set of 12 and I'm done.
Well, that's the thing with full body sessions. The calorie burn from a full body session is higher than.
Well, it's way better than arm day.
Yeah.
I mean, how many calories are you burning on a bench press? If I burn more calories in my warm up on a bike for an hour than I do in a 2-hour lifting workout.
Yeah.
But I mean, my warm up is like, I burn 700 to 800 calories in the warm up.
That's absolutely wild, to be honest. We were saying this on the podcast. Before every session, he warms up on the bike for at least
For an
30
hour.
minutes. Yeah.
30 minutes would be like, okay, I don't have much time today. Or I'm like too tired from racing the day before, but an hour is typical.
But why before and not after?
Because I prioritize cardio over weights.
There we
Like
go.
it's just like, you don't want to listen to my advice. If you want muscle, don't do an hour of cardio first. Just because it's not what I'm doing it for. Yeah, you want to do the opposite. Or separate your cardio from your weights. Like do it like, morning and night or something. But it takes time to get used to too. When I first started this, I would do like a 45-minute bike ride before the weights. I couldn't train.
Yeah.
I felt like garbage. Now I almost feel weird if I don't do a warm up.
Yeah, even with the split I'm doing at the moment, I've tried to train after doing a 5K, definitely not as good performance-wise. Same thing with doing a HIIT session in the morning. Any session after doing that, it's just not quite the same. So if the priority is the weights and building size, do that first.
Yeah, 5K run, I would not be able to walk straight the next day. I played, basketball with my friends, and I'm like done.
Yeah.
I play pickleball now. Even that's hard on the legs. You ever played that?
No.
Oh, that's fun. It's kind of like badminton and tennis at the same time. So a ball, you're just running
You
around.
end up being sore in places you never
that you didn't know you used. Yeah.
Did you get hip replacement?
No, I had a femoral acetabular impingement cam type. It's called. It's just I had bone spurs and it was subluxating the bone out of the hip, and they had to shave it down, pull my leg out. It was brutal. I couldn't feel I don't know how you say this. I couldn't feel my private area for 6 weeks. It was numb. I was panicking. I'm like, Doc, is it ever going to come back? Like numb, like how you sleep on your arm and it has the tingles? I had that for 6 weeks. I was just like
scary shit.
I was petrified. I'm like, this isn't good. Like, what's going on? And I woke up and my hip didn't hurt. My ankle hurt. I'm like, why does my ankle hurt and why can't I feel anything here? And the day of like, you had so much muscle in your leg, what they do is they tie something around your ankle and they pull your leg out of the socket to work on it. So they pulled so hard on my ankle that it was actually bruised and I was hurting from that. But yeah, that was not something I liked. Sent me home. I went back to the hospital 6 hours later, needed more pain meds. I'm in a wheelchair, and they're wheeling me out, and they trip over the edge of the sidewalk, and I fall out of this thing. I'm like, this is the Canadian healthcare. Couldn't believe it. Oh my God. Yeah, that was not a good memory. So on a regular leg workout at home, I would maybe do like one more set of legs. In the total, like, I don't train hamstrings, don't need to do any of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you clearly don't.
The bikes, oh my God.
It was funny that when I trained with Larry's, did a leg day with Larry's years ago, and the moment he started doing like high volume leg stuff, gassed.
Like this?
Yeah. It was probably more high volume than that.
Oh my God. You should have seen after I would train for the Guinness record. It was how much weight you could lift in a minute. So I was doing sets of 40 to 50 reps all the time, as fast as I could. I'd do one set and I'd be done 45 minutes, laying on my back, on as much gear as I could put into my body, just laying back like, oh my God. Yeah.
I've done that a few times when I'll be training with these like crazy guys that would smash their legs. And it would be like a double drop set on a compound movement. And after that, like, I would see black dots, couldn't talk, went grey, just had to go lie down in the bathroom for like 15 minutes until I felt normal again.
Oh yeah. The dumbest thing I ever trained for was I wanted to break the Guinness record for most deadlift in an hour. So I start training for this. So I put 2 plates on and I'm like, well, I'll do it for 15 minutes and I'll progressive overload to an hour. And I got to about 20 minutes and I'm like, yeah, this record is not meant to be. Do you know how hard it is to do 15 minutes of deadlifts? Would do it for like 30 seconds and then I would rest for 10 and then 30 seconds and rest for 10. And I was doing hundreds of reps. I couldn't move, but it was fun though, kind of fun, but I'm like, I can't do this for 6 months. It was just too much.
So I was asking Greg what he thinks my body fat percentage is at the moment.
And I'm saying you're probably about 8% body fat.
Okay.
Like really close. I think in 6 weeks you could be like on stage, shredded, you know, winning a competition.
There's a lot here.
When you say a lot,
for me it feels like relatively
half a centimeter.
Relatively speaking. And then like the hamstrings not really diced.
I feel like we're close to the same body fat percentage.
Yeah.
I tested at 7.6, I think, the last time I tested it. So you got to be close to that.
Let's see how long this lasts. Like my cut is going good, but then, as you said, once it gets to the point where you just start being hungry all the time, energy levels dip, strength dips, it's like, that's the time to call it a day.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I don't think people understand just how hard it is. Like, be careful what you wish for. Like, everyone wants to be single digit body fat, then you're there and you have no sex drive, you can't sleep, brain fog. Not worth it.
Yeah.
I keep preaching like 12% to me is like, if you want to look aesthetic and like really good looking, 12% is pretty much ideal. 15 is healthy. Anything below 10 for 99% of guys, below 10%, your life is suffering too much to make it worth it.
Yeah. And then you'll rebound.
Oh, it's horrible.
Right, so that's the session complete. That was mostly upper body, finished off with a little bit of legs. Obviously, Greg doesn't really need to work on his legs, so I do.
We did a few sets. It was good.
They were
hard.
Tough. Yeah. So if you haven't checked out the podcast already, it's an interesting conversation, put it that way. You've enjoyed Dubai?
It's amazing. It's my second trip here.
Yeah.
Loving it. The last trip I had pneumonia, so it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Good time of the year to come, January, February.
A lot cooler, 20s instead of 40s.
Yeah. We would not be doing this in a few months' time, that's for sure.
Oh God, no.
So yeah, go check him out on Greg Doucette, Instagram, YouTube, and I'll be seeing you again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Sick.